Atari was founded on June 27th, 1972. At that time, they created one of the first computer games ever, Pong. It was a simplistic tennis-like game. Simplistic, yes, but well ahead of its time. This was just a tiny glimpse of what the future would bring. I wasn't born yet when Pong was released. I was born in 1976, so I'm going to jump ahead a few years. The Atari 2600 was released in 1977 with a retail price of $190. That would be about $1,000 today. But fast forward a few more years, when I was 5 years old, every Pizza Hut in America had arcade games in them. My family would go to Pizza Hut maybe once a month. It was there where I played my first video game. I remember it was Centipede, and I was in awe from the first time I played it. My parents would give me change to throw into the arcade game while we were waiting for our food. The glow of the screen and that feeling having complete control, shooting up that Centipede, was an insane feeling for that time frame. I would be so heavily invested in that game, I'd forget the real reason we were at Pizza Hut, to eat. But a couple weeks later, we went back to eat. Centipede was gone. I was devastated. I didn't give a shit about the pizza. I only wanted to destroy that Centipede. All hope wasn't gone though. A different game was there. That visit introduced me to Space Invaders. I was hooked from the very first coin drop. Every time we went out to eat, I think my parents knew just how fascinated I was with these then relatively new arcade machines. In 1982, I seen my fair share of Atari 2600 commercials. I also remember seeing the price of the system, which eventually went way down years later, in those once great Sears Christmas catalogs. I never put the 2600 on my Christmas list because even at a very young age, I knew it was way more than any of the toys that I wanted. In fact, I didn't even ever ask for the 2600. Never once. But when Christmas Day of '82 rolled around, I was surprised and in total disbelief when I opened up my very own Atari 2600. Not to mention, both Centipede and Space Invaders were in my possession as well. In the early 80s, this was the system. There really was no competition at this time. The Atari 2600 was beautiful and the most glorious object a video gamer could have. It introduced us to other great games such as Pac-Man, Pitfall, Cosmic Ark, Asteroids, Defender, and so much more. Atari is the reason we have the games and consoles we have today. If you weren't growing up pre-Nintendo era, most just wouldn't understand. You might look at Atari games and say, those look really bad and way too simplistic. In reality, these games were actually ahead of their time and quite challenging. Atari was the future. It paved the way for future consoles and games. Atari's trials and errors are what helped future consoles. They learned from Atari's mistakes. It's quite remarkable that after 50 plus years, Atari is still putting things out on the market and rebranding itself. People, younger gamers in particular, don't have to like Atari. It's preference, and everybody has their own. However, it should always be noted that Atari is the reason you have the games you are playing today. Atari is, without a doubt, the pioneers of gaming. I urge people to actually read up on the history of Atari. If that doesn't help you appreciate and understand just how important this company is to the gaming community, then nothing will. 41 years later, and opening that Atari 2600 is something that I will never forget. So thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and until the next video, game on.